he sent me this in an email, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was Cedar Sats. But he mentioned Odell, HODL in the same conversation, so I had to check it out. Two of my favorite guys in Bitcoin. And these guys had a really good chat, and I would encourage everybody to watch this whole thing. There's pretty much everything that I've been talking about on this channel recently, they covered in an hour and a half here. And these are guys that I very much respect in Bitcoin. So there's a couple different topics that they were talking about. We're going to start with this one, which is what I named the thumbnail after today, which is burn the boats. And I feel like there's too many people out there who still have a foot in the old system. They're kind of like on the path to Bitcoin, but they're still working in, maybe a government job or something. I know a lot of people like that. A lot of Bitcoiners who still work for the fucking government. It's like, what are we doing here? But he also compares it to leaving a cult, which I thought was very interesting when you think about it that way. And just like the psychological damage that's done to people who are in a cult and who finally escape the cult. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are going through right now. And when you leave the cult, you kind of have two options there. You can either cut ties, burn the boats, or you can just spend the rest of your life obsessing over the fiat or the cult and saying all the bad things about the cult and really just psychologically living still in the cult. Or you can burn the boats and you can focus on the life that you actually want to build. You can focus on the future instead of where you came from. So I love this analogy here. Again, HODL's one of my favorite guys. I very much respect his opinions on a lot of things in Bitcoin. Great mind. And so let's listen to hear what he has to say about it.
Then we had to undo the brainwashing, and that took like years and years of savings accounts for them in Bitcoin and all this kind of stuff. But I think that it is like, I think Madex's point about us growing up in a totally different, because we all grew up brainwashed, and then we had to undo the brainwashing, and that took like years and years. It was like it actually was like the process of leaving a cult, is what it felt like. And we all sort of stumbled our way out of the darkness, and we were like, I think something's wrong. I don't know. I'm going to buy internet drug money and see what happens. I'm going to go on Matt Odell's podcast, the man I've never met. Like that was my journey. It was like,
I think that was the best podcast episode of all time, if you don't mind me saying.
But it was a fun podcast. We got really drunk.
It was a great conversation. Yeah, we got fucking wrecked.
But yeah, no, we just kind of stumbled our way out of the darkness, and we sort of found each other. And it is very similar to like when people leave fundamentalist cults or religions, and then they sort of group up, and then they spend a lot of their time talking about their experiences of being in the cult, and then how they deprogram themselves and what they're doing now in order to lead a stable life. And I think this is instructive for us, is I actually think one of the traps of leaving the cult is that you spend all your time focused on the cult that you left instead of your new vision for the future. And so some of the people that leave these cults, they just spend all day long thinking about where they came from and not where they're going. It's like, you only actually got halfway by leaving. You leave, that's important, but now you got to build the new future. You have to build the new world. And I think that's something for Bitcoiners to sort of think about. Like, don't spend, fiat sucks. Okay. And there's a lot of fiat problems. Got it. Bitcoin fixed a lot of those problems. Cool. Don't spend all day long focused on how fiat ruined the world. Spend your time focused on how you, as an individual who's empowered by Bitcoin, can fix the world. Not how Bitcoin fixes the world, how you, the individual, can fix the world using Bitcoin as a tool.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. And I know you've heard me talk. I've been talking about this a lot because it's a big part of what I'm working on right now, but that's what I'm trying to build here with the Visionaries community. What is being a visionary? Do you think it's looking backwards? Do you think that a visionary is somebody who looks backwards and reflects on where they came from and all the mistakes they made and worries about, what's coming? No. It's having a clear vision of the future that you want, and then taking action every day in that direction, but also being surrounded by people who are similar, other people who have also left the cult and don't want to talk about the cult anymore, who are focused on building the future. So I love that. And there's an analogy that I like to use myself, which was kind of stem from Jeff Booth's theory of, hey, I like Bitcoin. I understand Bitcoin. I think that it's the only thing that matters right now, but I'm still spending the majority of my time in the fiat system. I'm working in fiat. I'm watching the news. I'm on Twitter every day. You have to remove yourself from that system. And it's not something that happens overnight either. And that's the hard part. That's the difficulty here. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you do one day at a time, slowly. And the analogy that I like to use with it, I like that one though. Like that's one of my new favorite ones, leaving the cult, because it's so true. And if you're somebody who has left the fiat cult, you understand exactly what he's saying. And there are people who spend all their time, Bitcoiners who have left the system, who still spend all their time thinking about where they came from, trashing the fiat system, paying attention to the people in the fiat system, voting, watching the news, arguing on Twitter, all that bullshit. You don't need to do it. It's just a complete waste of your precious time. And that's another thing too that I'm going to start doing on this show. Although the show's almost over. But into the future, on the new show, every time I say time, I'm going to say precious in front of it. Precious time. And sats, precious sats. They're both precious. They're both scarce. And when you think about it that way, precious time instead of just time, because when you say time, a lot of people think that they have forever, that they're never going to die, or they have this thought in their mind that they are going to die, but they haven't really come to terms with what it looks like between then and now, and how unexpectedly things like this actually happen. Everybody says it can happen to me, but it happens to people every day on every part of the world. So whenever you think of time, put precious in front of it, precious time. And then when you're sitting there on your phone for 2 hours scrolling through TikTok, you don't consider that precious time. That's just a waste of time. So there's a lot of things that are abundant in the world. There's an abundant amount of information. There's an abundant amount of crap made every day in factories across the ocean. But there are scarce things, and there's scarce sats, and there's scarce time. Precious sats, precious time. And what's the point of leaving? What's the point of going through that whole journey out of the fiat system, out of the cult? You've already wasted enough time there. For me, I spent 33 years, 32 years, whatever it was, inside the cult. And I've escaped it. So why would I want to spend any of my precious time still living in that cult? I don't. I'm done with it. It's going to die. It's already dead, actually. I think it died back in 2008. It's been on life support, and they're just feeding it adrenaline shots, pumping more money into the system. And as that happened, the lower class gets poorer, and the lizards get richer. And the only fighting chance we have here is Bitcoin. And so why would I want to focus on anything other than that with my precious time?